I want to share something a little bit more personal with you today that I don't feel like a lot of coaches, Google Ads trainers, and people like me will always be forthright with or always share. I feel like I'm almost 50. I don't even want to say my age, but it just feels a lot closer to 50 than anything else. I'm a mom of 3 older kids, officially teenagers. I'm done with elementary school at this point in time, which means my life is a constant juggling. I'm balancing being a dance mom to my youngest. I'm managing the house, the chores, the constant laundry. And then I am also, at the same time that I'm doing all of this, keeping up with the unpredictable flow of my family life, getting dinner on the table. My son right now is at the grocery store. He's going to be a senior in high school. It is a lot. It's a heavy mental load. It is a heavy life that I have sort of on top of everything. Now, I am lucky. I'm lucky to be able to offer Google Ads consulting and then also be a mom of 3. But depending on whether or not school is in session, my daily energy that I have to give forward, those things shift dramatically. It is just how it is being me working on the business that I work on. It is a fact of life. And to top it all off, there are days when I live with the state of real creative fatigue and ultimately what I'm going to call brain fog. Now, having brain fog does not mean that I cannot work. And it took me a long time to learn this and learn how I flow. I've been at this a couple of years now, especially at this phase of my life. But what it means for me when I'm in a period of brain fog is that sitting down to write on the blog, which I love, I've talked about it over and over, I love my blog, but sometimes it feels like swimming through concrete for my brain. I'm just not in a place where I can write like I can speak. And so for a very long time, I beat myself up over this. It's like, oh man, what's wrong with me? And I would kind of stop, right? I'd stop putting out as much content. I would find other things to do. I would focus more on the house, or I'd focus more on my fitness and just kind of keeping another part of my life aligned. And I'd slip into this negativity, right? Because I'd think, if I can't do my content creation, then I'm falling behind. I'm not reaching customers. And then my lead generation is going to stall out. And then I'm failing my business. So it'd be this cycle. And I know that a lot of my clients relate to this because I talk about this type of thing when I'm in coaching sessions. But I noticed something really, really interesting. And that is on the exact same days when my brain can't write, right? When I'm like, I cannot type another blog, my brain was actually comfortable talking, right? So being here on this YouTube channel talking to you. So I may not be able to flesh out a blog post, but I can sit here and talk to camera and just show up as I am. And for me right now, it explains a little bit of how I go into coaching. Because what I'm doing right now on YouTube, where I'm explaining a complex situation out loud and kind of explaining how I've shifted, is really the entire model of how my coaching works. And when I'm going through Google Ads accounts, I'm doing a lot of the same work on you that I do to myself. Instead of forcing myself when I'm in this to do things that feel impossible, I've given myself permission to adapt. And once I started really again, meeting myself where I am, understanding where my brain works, my productivity came back and the guilt started to go away. And guess what? My business kept growing. If anything, my business has grown more because I have multiple places to be, right? So if I'm a little bit less brain free, I guess that's a right way to put it, brain free, then I can lean into my YouTube channel. And if I am a little bit more I'm quiet, I want to just come downstairs in my sweatpants and just type and think about just actual problems and flush them out, I can lean a little bit more onto the blog. And so you might be like, well, why are you telling me all this? This has nothing to do with my match type. This has nothing to do with Google Ads. This has nothing to do with my bid strategy. I can't even get my conversion tracking to work. I get it, right? Those are the reasons people come to me. But again, this dynamic happens in your Google Ads account every single day. Every single day, if you're running Google Ads and I'm coaching you, what I just explained happens to me, happens to you too. And I understand it. Most people will approach Google Ads and don't love it. In fact, it used to drive me bananas on the agency front. So people come to Google Ads a lot of times with this perfectionist expectation. They think we have to get this campaign launched completely perfectly. We have to write all the headline variations today. We have to have the perfect smart bidding algorithm set right now. They don't want to take the time to figure it out. They don't want to kind of go with what they have right now and then start iterating and building from there based on the data. They want to just launch a campaign from start to finish and perfect it perfected form. I almost, when I see an ads account that's set up too neatly and doesn't have that organic growth to it, and when I mean organic growth, I don't mean growth of the actual performance. I actually mean the way the ad account looks. It looks like someone set it up too perfectly. I get a little bit alarmed. What have they overlooked? Where were they not following the data? And so when life happens, if you're a business owner, you're marketing, you're watching my toe, and you're busy, you're overwhelmed, you're dealing with your own mental fatigue, and you start avoiding looking at your ads account, or you feel guilty because it's not perfect enough, or you worry about like losing money, and then you end up completely stuck. It is okay. It is my core philosophy as a coach is that I meet you where you're at and we gently move you just to the next phase. Now, what's up, dude? Are you okay? Okay. All right. Love you. Be safe. Bye-bye. My son called while I was on the video. So that's how my life goes. Anyway, we don't build a Google Ads strategy designed for an imaginary, perfect, energetic version of your business who has 40 free hours a week to tweak it and manually bid and do anything completely wild. We build a strategy designed for your actual life, your actual business, your actual bandwidth, your actual current capacity. That is what I do with my clients. When you work with me one-on-one, I meet you where you're at without an ounce of judgment. If you're overwhelmed by the tech, I don't flood you with complex data. We isolate the metric that you want to look at this week, this month. I say, hey, I don't love where this is headed, but I don't think this is going to break your account. Why don't we look over here and work through this and we'll come back to this. It's not hurting the account, but it's not necessarily working in your best interest. Or I'll say, you know what, this is something I would change, but it's working. I would just keep my eyes on it. And then when I come back in a call, like we deal with it then. If you're feeling creative fatigue or you just don't have a lot of creative, I don't force you to write endless ad copy. If you really, really cannot think of those 15 lines, I am not going to sit there and force you to come up with them to the point where they become boring. Because guess what? Like Google has 48,000 combinations of ad copy. We find ways to repurpose what you already have, and we use tools to lift the burden, right? Like I'm okay if you use a little AI or some AI to come up with ad copy ideas. That is okay. I'm okay if you don't use all 15. Again, I want to meet you where you're at. So if your life is chaotic, another thing we can do is we could set up alerts. We could set up some light automation right inside your account to give you some reliability. I could set up a daily email so that way you don't have to log into the platform every day and you can just be like, oh, okay, here's where we're at today. These are the types of things that my clients love to help to bridge that gap. I don't like to force you to take 10 steps ahead. I just want to identify the next single phase that feels manageable for you right now. And then I want to help you fix that together. I think that for me is the best place that I can operate when I'm a coach, because again, that's how I would treat myself. You do not have to have a perfect ad account. You do not have to have an endless budget in Google Ads. I mean, one of my clients the other day, I told them, I said, you know what? I wouldn't give this more money. And if this stops working, I would lower this budget. Sometimes lowering is the better option because again, we don't have the unlimited budget, unlimited energy to make Google Ads fit into your business in a way that it shouldn't. You, as the business owner who's confused about Google Ads, who can't get the conversion tracking to work, again, it's these basic things. You just need a partner that gets you to the next step, that understands life happens, and who knows how to adapt the platform around you, around your business. So if you're ready to stop beating yourself up, drop the perfectionism and let Google Ads have a strategy that actually fits into your life, that is something I would love to help. In any case, I hope that this helped you feel a little bit better today, especially if you're overwhelmed. And if you feel like you have to balance everything and this is one last thing you want to take on, or you've been thinking about your Google Ads and you know that your agency probably isn't doing what they're supposed to, but you're scared to take it on, I really, really hope that this video gave you a little bit of that clarity and a little bit of that understanding that this doesn't have to be all one way or all the other and you exactly where you are. In any case, have a good day. Hope to see you soon. See you in the comments.